He didn't fight back. He didn't defend his territory. He didn't even try to win. He just kept walking away. And the most powerful military force on Earth followed him deeper and deeper into the cold, into the silence, into their own destruction. He never attacked Napoleon once. Napoleon destroyed himself. That is Law 8. Most people believe that power means going after what you want, chasing, pushing, forcing outcomes through sheer will and aggression. But here's the truth Robert Greene buried inside Law 8 that almost no one is ready to accept. The moment you chase, you lose. Because the person who comes to you holds nothing, but the person who makes others come to them controls everything. The pace, the terms, the outcome. And the most dangerous players in history never chased a single thing. They baited, they waited, and they let their enemies walk into the trap themselves. Law 8 says this: make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Greene isn't talking about patience. He isn't talking about strategy in the conventional sense. He is talking about something far colder, far more calculated. He is talking about the art of manufactured need, making someone believe that coming to you was entirely their own idea. The year is 1812. Napoleon Bonaparte is at the absolute peak of his power. He commands the Grande Armée, 685,000 soldiers, the largest military force ever assembled in European history. He has crushed Austria, dismantled Prussia, humiliated every major power on the continent. Now he turns east, Russia. Tsar Alexander I watches Napoleon's army cross into Russian territory and does something that shocks every military mind in Europe. He orders his generals to retreat, not strategically reposition, not hold defensive lines, run. General Mikhail Kutuzov, the man ultimately put in charge of Russia's defense, understands something Napoleon does not. Napoleon's greatest weapon is also his greatest weakness, his need to win decisively, his hunger for the crushing, glorious battle that ends wars in a single afternoon. Kutuzov refuses to give it to him. Every time Napoleon advances, Russia retreats. Villages are abandoned, food supplies are burned, entire regions are emptied before Napoleon's army can reach them. Napoleon keeps marching forward, deeper into Russia, deeper into silence, into a landscape that offers nothing, no battle, no glory, no decisive moment of victory. He reaches Moscow in September. The city is empty and burning. The Russians burned their own capital rather than let Napoleon claim it. Napoleon sits in the ruins of Moscow for 5 weeks, waiting for Tsar Alexander to come to him, to negotiate, to surrender. Alexander never comes. He doesn't need to, because Kutuzov knew the most powerful truth in Law 8. When you force someone to chase you, you are no longer reacting to their strength. They are reacting to your absence. And absence, in the right hands, is the most devastating weapon imaginable. Napoleon begins his retreat in October. The Russian winter arrives. 685,000 soldiers marched into Russia. Fewer than 120,000 walked out. Russia never fought a single decisive battle. They simply refused to come to Napoleon, and Napoleon, unable to stop chasing, destroyed himself. Here is what most people miss entirely when they read this story. They focus on the Russian winter, on the logistics, on Napoleon's overconfidence, but those are symptoms. The real cause is psychological. Napoleon was a victim of what modern psychology calls reactance, a deep primal response that fires inside the human brain the moment something feels just out of reach. When a goal becomes elusive, we don't rationally recalculate, we don't step back and reassess, we pursue harder. The psychological drive intensifies in direct proportion to how unattainable the target appears. This is not a weakness unique to Napoleon. It is wired into every human mind without exception. The hunter who sees the prey turn and run doesn't think, it runs faster. This is what Kutuzov weaponized. Every retreat made Napoleon more desperate. Every empty village made the prize feel closer. Every kilometer deeper into Russia felt like progress, when in reality, it was the trap closing tighter. Kutuzov understood something that takes most people a lifetime to learn. You do not need to overpower your enemy. You need only to understand what they cannot resist, and then place it just beyond their reach.
This is the architecture of Law 8. Not patience, not passivity. Engineered desire. There is a second psychological layer to this law that Greene identifies with surgical precision: control. The person who comes to you has already surrendered something invisible but essential: the illusion of control over the situation. The moment you step toward someone, toward their territory, their terms, their timeline, you have handed them the frame. And whoever holds the frame holds the power. This is why the most influential people in any negotiation, any relationship, any power dynamic throughout history have always understood one unspoken rule: never be the one who needs the meeting more. The one who needs it more always loses, not because they are weaker, not because they are less intelligent, but because need reveals itself. It changes the body language, it alters the tone, it makes concessions feel inevitable. And the person across from them senses it the way a predator senses hesitation and adjusts accordingly. Greene writes that when you make others come to you, you are making a statement of power before a single word is spoken. You are saying, "I am the prize, you are the one seeking access." And once that dynamic is established, almost nothing can reverse it. Now, here's the part of Law 8 most people find deeply uncomfortable. Because this law does not only describe how the powerful protect themselves, it describes how they hunt. The bait is never random, it is always precise. Kutuzov knew Napoleon could not resist the promise of Moscow, a symbolic, historic, decisive capture of Russia's spiritual capital. That was the bait, placed exactly where Napoleon's ego would guarantee he followed. The most dangerous practitioners of Law 8 in history did not set random traps. They studied their target. They identified the specific desire, the particular vanity, the specific fear, the unique hunger, and they engineered a situation where pursuing that desire led directly into their hands. This is where the law becomes truly dark, because most people walking through their lives believe they are making their own choices, pursuing their own goals, following their own instincts. And sometimes they are. But sometimes the path they're walking was built for them. The opportunity that appeared at exactly the right moment, the rival who retreated just enough to make pursuit feel logical. The situation that somehow always seems to bring them back to the same person, the same table, the same terms. The most powerful people in any room are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who have made themselves indispensable, quietly, deliberately, until the people around them cannot imagine navigating their world without them. They don't chase power. They create conditions where power has no choice but to come to them. And what happens to those who ignore Law 8? They become Napoleon. Driven forward by momentum they can no longer control, pursuing something that keeps retreating just fast enough to keep them moving, committing more resources, more energy, more time, because turning back feels like defeat. until they look up and realize they're deep in a territory they don't recognize, surrounded by silence, waiting for an answer that was never coming. Greene is specific about this pattern. The person who chases signals need, and need signals weakness, and weakness invites exploitation, not from cruel people necessarily, but from anyone who understands that power flows toward those who appear to need it least. The chase always costs more than the capture, and sometimes it costs everything. Here is what Law 8 is really asking you to understand. Power is not loud. It does not announce itself. The most powerful force in any dynamic is the one that makes others feel the pull without ever revealing the hook. Kutuzov sat in the cold and waited. Napoleon marched forward and burned. The man who waited controlled the outcome before it began. You have been taught that ambition means going after what you want, that hesitation is weakness, that waiting is losing. But the history of power tells a different story. The ones who lasted, the ones who built something that outlived a single moment of glory, understood that the most powerful position you can ever occupy is the one where others need you more than you need them. Don't chase. Build something worth coming to, and then wait. The right things and the right people will always find their way to the door. Law 8 teaches you how to make them come, but there is a law that teaches you something even more dangerous: what to do when they arrive. That is where the real power begins. Until then, stop chasing. Everything you pursue pursues you less.